Welcome into That's Good Sports. I am Brandon Perna, and all 32 NFL teams have trimmed their rosters down to the mandatory 53. The craziest part of the day is that I have news about two Gardners, and neither of them are named Minshew. But the Eagles are still part of the story. The Raiders cut Alex Leatherwood, whom Gruden and Mayock drafted with the 17th overall pick last year. And magically, Jimmy Garoppolo is staying with the 49ers. So today I'll break down as much of the shit happening as I can. Because there is, oh my God, there is so much shit happening. But I'm going to try to just hit the important ones. Trades, cuts, roster stuff. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, and Broncos fans, don't forget your Mile High shirts are down below. The store link is below. You suggested these shirts, I made them for you, so now go fucking buy them, please. It's got a little Russell Wilson in the eye and a little weed for drugs, Colorado. All right, NFL cuts are coming in hot and heavy. And I'm obviously not going to mention all 800 plus players being trimmed from NFL rosters today, but I do want to talk about some of the surprise cuts, who they included. And I want to preface it by saying it's not an easy day for a lot of guys. This is a day where a lot of athletes' careers end, where guys start looking at leagues like the XFL and the USFL to keep their careers going, which is why I love those leagues, which is why I think they are much needed. So I just wanted to mention that because, you know, I make a lot of jokes here on this show, and I didn't want anyone to think I was joking about guys losing their jobs, because if I don't spell it out for everybody every single week, somebody takes offense to it. So just know I'm not doing that, even if I accidentally do. Let's start with the Minnesota Vikings, who waived quarterback Kellen Mond. So I guess former head coach Mike Zimmer may have been more right than, you know, just an asshole.
You want to get a look at Mond next week?
Not particularly. I see him every day.
Mond is just a year removed from being the team's third-round pick, so this is a bit of a surprise. They also waived Sean Mannion, so their plan is for Kirk Cousins to not get COVID ever again. The Buffalo Bills waived tight end O.J. Howard after signing him to a one-year deal this offseason. All I can say is I hope the rest of his life doesn't play out like the last O.J. the Bills moved on from.
Perfect.
Eagles, they released safety Anthony Harris. The Eagles gave me a lisp. The Eagles released safety Anthony Harris. Pete Carroll said, "Damn, I would have given you guys a first rounder for him if you would have just asked me, Philly." The Texans released running back Marlon Mack, a little bit of a surprise. So everyone who has been high on Dameon Pierce for fantasy has probably been onto something. Oh wait, that's been me. Again, the Raiders waived first-round lineman Alex Leatherwood after exactly 0 of the 32 teams would trade for him. That's not a joke. That's Ian Rappaport tweeting, "The Raiders got 32 no's." Think about that. Josh McDaniels and GM Dave Ziegler tried to trade Leatherwood to themselves, and even they said no. That's the only way you can get 32 no's, right? Say what you want about John Gruden, but not even he would turn down a first-round draft pick from himself. The Raiders also traded away another Gruden-Mayock pick that didn't work out in corner Trayvon Mullen. He's going to the Arizona Cardinals for a 7th rounder. The Broncos made several key moves, which I'll break down in tomorrow's podcast on the That's Good Broncos channel. Broncos fans, subscribe there. But trading edge rusher Malik Reed to the Steelers was a bit of a surprise to me. I think that's a great addition for Pittsburgh. Reed is a solid depth piece to have on the edge. The Colts released Mr. Colorado, Philip Lindsay. Lindsay is an explosive back when he gets carries, but as an undersized player who doesn't catch the ball well or contribute to special teams, it's hard to justify keeping him on the roster. Wide receiver Josh Gordon was waived by the Chiefs. It sounds like he was an upstanding citizen in Kansas City, but unfortunately got caught up in the numbers game. And honestly, I probably should not be wearing this shirt while talking about Josh Gordon. Josh Rosen was released by the Browns. I think if you declared early for the draft and your NFL career is this big of a disaster, you should be able to get another year of eligibility in college. So send Rosen back to UCLA. The Buccaneers cut wide receiver Tyler Johnson. Apparently, he was too good at catching off-target passes from Tom Brady. Kenyon Drake, running back, signed with the Baltimore Ravens after the Raiders cut him last week. I think this is a key addition for Baltimore as Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins continue to work their way back from last season's ACL injuries. Now, this is not NFL related, but every now and again, a sports story is so important it trumps all NFL news. 2 fans were kicked out of a Blue Jays game for having sex in the back row of the empty bleachers. Get your hot dogs, peanuts, catch a foul ball, and don't forget to rail your girlfriend. All of the things that make our national pastime magic. I do respect the guy taking the next step, because a lot of guys will think about baseball so they can last longer in bed. This guy just went straight to baseball to last longer. Okay, back to football. It sort of seems like a lot of the trades that happen right now, right at the end of the roster cut deadline, are kind of insignificant in terms of impact. But one trade that I think is a huge win is the Eagles getting defensive back Chauncey Gardner Johnson in a trade with the Saints. Philly gives up just a 5th and 6th round draft pick in 2023 and 2024 for an instant starter. Not only does this make the Eagles perfectly balanced with a Gardner on offense and a Gardner on defense, they get the one defensive back willing to taunt Tom Brady when he plays like garbage. Oh, what a good move, Philly. Now, Gardner Johnson, he's not a perfect player in coverage, but this is a great addition to a Philly secondary that is now officially stacked. Johnson has mostly been used as a slot corner, but is probably more suited to be a safety. After releasing safety Anthony Harris, Philly will be deploying him in his much more natural role. Philly has 3 very good corners already in Darius Slay, James Bradbury, and Avonte Maddox. And with Gardner Johnson, they now have a ton of versatility on their back end, much like Antonio Brown used to have. It really feels like the Eagles are making some very smart personnel decisions. We've got another Johnson potentially on the move. The Broncos released quarterback Josh Johnson after Brett Rippon apparently won the backup job in Denver. Johnson has played for a record 14 NFL teams and may very well get to 15. And in a massive twist, the 49ers will be hanging on to Jimmy G for the 2022 season. Mr. G will be serving as a backup to first-time starter Trey Lance. Now, Garoppolo was even kind enough to drop his salary from $25.5 million to $6.5 million guaranteed, which frees up about $18 million in cap space. The Niners were dead last in cap room and now sit with about the 5th most cap space. Now let's just take a second to appreciate how mature Jimmy Garoppolo is. Oops, sorry, wrong photo. That's just a shirtless Jimmy G. Although you could say that body is mature. But this man, Jimmy Garoppolo, took the 49ers to a Super Bowl, just had them in the NFC Championship game where they were 3 points away from going to their 2nd Super Bowl in 3 years. During which time, the 49ers gave up the farm to acquire quarterback Trey Lance. Jimmy Garoppolo plays through a couple injuries last year while getting his team to the championship game, has a couple surgeries this offseason while his team is trying to trade him, and then he comes back and takes a pay cut to back up Trey Lance. Not a lot of guys would do that. Have we ever even seen something like that happen? When you are as perfectly constructed as Jimmy G is, it's hard to get upset about anything. Jimmy G is so good looking that even Ian Rappaport couldn't avoid a Freudian slip in his breaking news segment about the QB.
Materialized. The only thought was that one of those teams, the quarterback needy teams.
Remember when I said multiple times keeping Garoppolo as your backup would be the best move for the 49ers? And then I reiterated that and said I really hope they do it now to make me look smart? Well, they did, so thank you, San Francisco. Also, RIP to Rita Oak, who will have to continue to draw Jimmy Garoppolo every day until he gets traded for another football season. If you haven't been following her on Twitter, please do. The Jaguars have traded former second-round pick Laviska Shenault to the Carolina Panthers in exchange for a 6th and 7th-round pick. Shenault joins a pretty dangerous core of skill position players that includes Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson. I'd like to see if Matt Rule can take advantage of that versatility Shenault showed off at Colorado when he was playing wide receiver, running back, and returning kicks. Since it's Matt Rule, he probably won't. But the Jags haven't exactly been the most creative on offense, and I think this change of scenery and change of schemery will help revive his career. Now, I do believe Shenault can help Baker Mayfield execute his Week 1 plans to fuck up the Browns in the season opener. At least that's what he told Cynthia Freeland. Of course, he won't get the chance to fuck up his replacement, Deshaun Watson. He'll have to take out his anger on Jacoby Brissett, who's starting for the Browns while Watson is on the shelf for the first 3 months of the season. Beating up on poor old Jacoby Brissett for Deshaun Watson's sins is like those people who punch their television when their football team loses. You're channeling your anger in the wrong direction. It's no secret that Justin Fields' rookie season was far from a success, but he's shown some flashes that lead you to believe he can figure it out in the right situation. He's had a great preseason. Now, I will qualify this as saying it is the preseason, but Fields did in fact lead all NFC quarterbacks in passer rating. I don't know if this means anything, but if you watched him throw this preseason, he did look more decisive, especially when the play took him out of the pocket. I still worry a little bit about his loopy throwing motion, but I'm confident Fields can take a step forward in year 2. Sauce Gardner didn't allow a touchdown his entire college career, and he went the entire preseason without allowing a reception. I don't expect that kind of stinginess forever, but I think the Jets probably got a good corner. Maybe their best since Darrelle Revis, and now he will have an official sauce at Buffalo Wild Wings, aptly called Sauce Sauce. I do appreciate the humor in the redundancy, which made me think of a few more food deals that should happen for NFL players, or former NFL players. We've got the Ben Roethlisberger burgers, served with meat that should have been thrown out 2 years ago. Jerry Rice rice. If you throw this rice at a wedding, every granular will be caught by Jerry. Jabril and Julius Peppers peppers. There's nothing funny about peppers, fuck. Sam Coke Coke. Oh no, this is not that diabetes-causing soda that ruins the world. I'm talking about a healthy supplement to get you through your favorite rager, cocaine. And finally, Aaron Rodgers was the guest on the most recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. And during a 3-hour conversation, Rodgers talked about playing games while on Percocets to manage pain.
Did they make sure you weren't playing on that stuff?
No, you played, definitely. Yeah.
Wow. And what, did you ever play on it?
Yeah.
What did you play on?
Percocet.
You might remember his famous comeback in the 2018 season opener against the Bears. Well, this was him after winning the game.
It would have had to take something really catastrophic injury-wise to keep me off the field in the second half. You know, I went in the locker room, did all the tests, and then I was in our indoor facility trying to get it loosened up. But I knew once I got back on the field, the adrenaline started going I'll be able to hang in there.
What was the injury?
In my knee.
I don't know if this was Percocets, but he seemed like he was hopped up on some kind of goofballs. Or wait, was it Sam Coke? No, probably just Percocets. Something I'm pretty sure no other Packers QB has ever done. Thanks for watching the roster trimming episode here on That's Good Sports. There's another episode on the screen. And September 1st, we got a huge launch at BenchwarmerBrew.com. So come check that out.